After that somewhat worrying first evening on the boat, yesterday had left us feeling a whole lot better about our decision to come out to Palau. We had finally had some clearer visibility, and the combination of caverns, hook dives, and spectacular corals had us really looking forward to the rest of the trip. And on top of that, our pretty sunrise clouds actually turned into rainbows off in the distance, much to Jen's delight. And rainbow crusaders. The first dive of the day was one of the more well-known sites in Palau called German Channel. It's named that because a channel was blasted by Germans, fair enough, back in the day in order to get bat guano out of one of the islands. These days it's mostly known for the Manta cleaning station located on the southwest end of the channel.
Go and kneel down and wait the Manta. The Manta is there, very happy.
2.5 on 3 or 3N? 3.
Once again, visibility was spectacular, the water was pleasantly warm, and there were sea cucumbers everywhere. German Channel is mainly known as a manta cleaning station, meaning the general plan was to set up by the location where they come in to get parasites removed by other fish and then watch the show. Unfortunately, right off things were a bit confusing. We had the big boat captain with us as a second guide. He seemed to have a lot more experience with the dive sites, but we ended up in a situation where he was motioning us to follow him while our guide and most of the group was swimming away, and attempts to get the main guide's attention and get them to communicate didn't work. We ended up following the captain and ended up with a few others off to one side of the station with no idea where the rest of the group was. When we've done these before, we've either been hooked into the rocks due to current in Raja, or else kneeling on clear sand, with the idea being the mantas are generally really easy to spook, so you need to stay low and stay still if you want them to keep coming back. Unfortunately, some folks in our subgroup didn't seem to be able to manage that, and it ended up being a near altercation due to one of them kicking corals. Now, contact with corals does happen sometimes despite all efforts to avoid it, but in general the reaction to inadvertent contact is you pull away as if stung and look visibly guilty. Here the person didn't even seem to notice what was going on, and attempts by guests to get him to stop didn't work, and what was worse, the guide barely took action even when multiple people were violently signaling him, which unfortunately was going to be a theme in Palau. We had to leave the cleaning station early because one person was on air and so had limited bottom time versus the rest of us on nitrox, so the captain took us up into the deeper area. This had us swimming against the current just to hold our position, and I was a bit concerned we were being the bad people spooking off the mantas, but later the captain mentioned there's actually a deep cleaning station out there where they sometimes see mantas and can keep their distance. This part of the dive was actually the most enjoyable for Jen and I due to the fish aggregation with all the sharks swimming through. I could have seriously sat there and watched this for hours. Incidentally, while we were up here, the rest of our group is kneeling down in the rocks off in the distance, where their ears were actually being attacked by these little cleaner fish, and they were having kind of a miserable time. While the fish tornado was cool, we actually did get a manta sighting at this point. Now, we've always had it stressed to us that anywhere except Socorro, the golden rule with anything big like a manta is not to chase them. Don't approach them, stay low, stay calm, and let them decide to approach. At the very least, they'll hang around longer that way. Guess what didn't happen here? Eventually, we looped around back to the shallows to see what we could see for a little while we did our safety stop. fishing Sharknado was kind of the coolest part. So that dive, we all were really, really happy going out there, but it was kind of a mixed bag. It was a manta cleaning station, which we're both kind of, because we've seen a lot of mantas at this point. Gandhi, you're ruining the lighting. And there was some bad behavior from some guides and some of the other people, and that's always kind of the crummy thing being out here. Because then I feel bad the entire time about the dive. And it's really frustrating seeing people like kick coral and
it was
scaring
really
mantas
hard watching
off.
this guy. There was a beautiful, I think it's acropora, the big flat ones with tons of little fish in it. And the guy, I think he's just oblivious, but he's just like finning and pieces are breaking off. Yeah. And the couple that was right next to us, they were shaking their fists.
You probably hear the call to get ready in the background of that clip. As I've said before, we didn't have a lot of time to sit around.
So get ready, back roll, drop down, it's about 25 feet or 7 or 8 meters, and then regroup, swim this direction. Walk.
This was supposed to be a hook dive where we would swim along the wall, get to a corner where we'd hook in, but partway down the guide made the decision that we were fighting too much current, and so he turned us around and just turned it into a drift dive. The other group did make it to the hook spot. They were able to hook in, but they said they didn't see a whole lot. As I've said before, wall dives aren't my favorite, but the nice thing on some of them like this is that the shallows are actually really full of life. So we soon started the habit of just giving up on the deeper sections and heading up there. That dive was a little both of the dives today. You know, it was a reasonable dive, but nothing too special. A couple of turtles at the end. More clownfish than we've seen, so at least there's something for Jed, but I don't know. I like the flats where you're over a coral garden and you've got a bunch of fish everywhere, so 3 more to go. The dives were but can't beat the pretty turquoise water.
Reef and save the walls, decorated soft corals, the area, and while we're drifting, please don't swim close to the wall. Just swim a little to the blue, because the current will push you up on top of the reef.
You can see here our bubbles are kind of being pushed along with us by the current. Interestingly enough, while they'd warned us on the briefing to watch out for the current pushing us onto the reef, it actually reversed partway down, making us kind of struggle to even stay close. The portion where we were hooked in was fun, kind of as always. We had stronger current, so you really got a feel for the amount of force sweeping over you, which is something that is kind of hard to convey unless you've been there. Unfortunately, other than the little triggerfish you can see fluttering all around, most of the big stuff was far enough away that the footage didn't really come out. Eventually we unhooked and then drifted into the shallows for the remainder of our dive. interestingly enough, when we got above 25 feet or so, the rock was actually really barren. I mean, there were still fish, there were still coral, but you can tell it's just not nearly as covered as all the other reefs are. The only thing we could figure is it has something to do with the waves that were kind of crashing over this section, as there was some back and forth going on. I think this guy was letting some cleaner wrasse get at his gills, but I'm not 100% sure. And per Jen, this was the coziest clownfish ever because his anemone was tucked away in a rock like this. Also note the really little blackfish that's hanging out in there with him. Jen thought I was filming this way too much, but I just never got tired of the crystal clear blue water rushing past us. This is actually the entrance to German Channel. So we'd been watching these sharks swimming around the big boat pretty much constantly the entire trip, and Jen had been really wanting to snorkel with them to see if we could get a better look, so that was how we spent our 20 or so minutes of free time this break. And because I know people always wig out about sharks, this particular kind is not really a danger to humans. Usually the only ones you have to worry about are tiger sharks, bull sharks, or great white sharks, and even then the attacks are really uncommon. Honestly, the biggest challenge was just getting him to come close enough we could get a good look at him, because the moment we got in the water they went from being right next to the boat to backing way off. Also, I don't know what was going on with this guy. A sneeze, maybe? We also had these giant stingrays that we found hanging out under the boat. They were massive, and I couldn't figure out what they were doing there, and then I looked closer and I noticed that the cooks had dumped their eggshells into the water after cooking breakfast, presumably, and it looked like the rays were down there eating those remains. For the fourth dive of the day, the plan was to do Big Drop Off, which was basically the next site northeast of where we ended up on Turtle Walls Drift Dive.
Drop down on the edge of the wall goes down very deep. Around 200 feet, and then 1, 2, and 3.
The oh-so creatively named Big Drop-Off dive site was obviously another wall dive with all the usual drawbacks. It did seem like, in addition to the group size related struggles, there was just less cool, unique things to find in the rocks compared with someplace like Raja Ampat. But there were things there. We did find a good number of clownfish and turtles on all of these. My understanding is when you find an anemone that's all closed up like this versus, being open and spread out, it's basically because it's pooping, but, the clownfish don't really mind. We did try our usual wall dive trick of heading up into the shallows and seeing if we could find more interesting stuff there. Unfortunately, this one did not have the best shallows, it just wasn't quite as well lit. Though we did find this one fair-sized group of fish that was basically hanging out under the overhang.
Yeah, I originally wasn't going to use it, but then when it was cloudy, I was like...
That last dive was peaceful, enjoyable, pretty, not standout. My favorite part of it was actually right at the end. There was one of those big pink anemones with a bunch of the little pink anemone fish fish in there. Up next, we're doing a night dive at German Reef. So same area we were this morning watching for the mantas, but we won't go down to the sand, we'll just hang on the reef. They said chance of frogfish.
Dry and warm and relaxed. They told us on these night dive runs to be really careful not to turn on any of our dive lights when we were in motion. The reason being the chase boat driver Tong had to hit the channel just right to avoid running aground on shallow rocks. I'm pretty sure they just picked this dive because it was conveniently close to the others. It was fine, but didn't have any sort of major draw. We did make some trevally friends on this dive. Basically, anytime our lights lit up any of the smaller fish trying to stay unnoticed out of the rocks, they'd swoop in and eat them. The other fun thing was the amount of these little swimming critters attracted to the lights. At times, they would swarm so heavily I'd basically have to turn off my lights in order to get away from them. And at least one of them was capable of stinging, because I ended up having something go up my wrist cuff and sting me on the elbow. It's also just neat to see the corals at night because they often have their tentacles extended for feeding, like this guy. While Jen is basically equally excited by all sea cucumbers, I really find these guys fascinating. And it's because when you look close at their mouth, the way they feed, they actually move around as they have these little tentacles that kind of feel around and pull food towards their mouth. It's hypnotizing to sit there and watch. Overall, this was just a nice mellow night dive. The biggest stressor was just trying to figure out who the guide was, since all the figures are kind of hard to make out in the dark like this.
That was a really enjoyable day. Now that we're fully in the groove of the routine on this boat, we'll be in that routine for the next 8 days or so. Not quite as spectacular as the dives yesterday because it was less varied. We had a few dives that were kind of similar feeling, swimming along the wall, but every moment underwater here is really relaxing, really enjoyable. And the night dive was a real good one, good way to end the day. The highlight for me was all the little planktons, all just the little small translucent critters that come up into your light. And especially Matt found one bright purple little jellyfish that was the cutest little critter on that night dive, at least, if not the whole day. Oh no, the clownfish, those were the anemone fish, the pink ones, those were even cuter. Home sweet home for the night.